A disability is something that has a major impact on your life.
Every disability is different.
And it's never the same thing for two people. I am blind in my right eye totally and partially sighted in my left eye.
I was 18 years old. We were traveling way too fast on a gravel road. Broke my neck, my back.
My Asperger's syndrome and my cerebral palsy.
I have anxiety and depression. People would have no idea just talking to me.
Being independent means different things to different people.
I want to live in my own house. I want to pay my own bills.
Live independently and not rely on other people.
When someone is not able to live as independently as they can, it does have a detrimental effect on people's physical and mental well-being.
It's no complicated thing. It's just that people with disabilities want to be included.
Plenty of people get stuck in ruts when they feel like they can't overcome something in their life. That's where Lyft comes in.
Living independently for today and tomorrow. Lyft. We help people of all ages and all types of disabilities find the resources or acquire the skills to live as independently as possible.
We serve the southeastern 18 counties here at the Billings office. We have a variety of things that we offer. We can help with grant funding for adaptive equipment.
Maybe a home modification so they're able to access their home. We help people to find that funding.
Helping people apply for Social Security benefits.
Medicaid, Medicare, housing.
They have a peer support group. Peer support, I think, is key.
Sharing life experiences is one of the most powerful things to help people who might be new to disability, who might be struggling with their disability.
Youth transitions is kids that are transitioning out of high school. They need to learn those adulting skills. It might be rent an apartment, learn how to grocery shop, budgeting.
Help someone advocate for themselves in a school or an employment setting. One of our biggest strengths is providing folks with information and referral. If we can't help you, we hope to know who can.
A lot of times we'll have a potential consumer call in and they think that they just have one need, and it turns out that we end up finding 3 or 4 things we can actually do for them.
You can just come in and say, hey, I feel like I have this going on. Can you help me? And we can, which is so cool to me. I love that.
Most of us on staff at Lyft have identified ourselves as having one or more disabilities. That is helpful in many cases.
It's easier to empathize with someone when you yourself have struggled with a disability.
This is what we specialize in. This is who we are, and this is what we do.
And it costs nothing to go to Lyft. It's a nonprofit organization and they're there to help.
Somebody that was a consumer that was working with Lyft was asked to do an art project. He visualized that the balloon helps to lift people up. And then it became the logo and it's stuck.
There's been success on all kinds of levels.
It's really rewarding to have a consumer go, hey, I was able to do this by myself today.
We want people to live their best life as independent as possible.
Live as everyone else in society and live as a part of society, not apart from society.
Everybody needs help. Sometimes you just need a little more help, and that's okay. That's absolutely okay.
There's plenty of life to live still, and there's a way you can do it. Keep chipping away at it, little by little by little.
Knowledge is power. Let's share it, for crying out loud.
Send us an email, give us a call. We'll do our best to help.
We can definitely help figure out what your needs are and get started on that. We're one of many steps in the path to independence, and we're happy to be serving people here in the community.
Good day and welcome to Living Well in Montana. Living Well in Montana is a program of living independently for today and tomorrow, or LIFT, L-I-F-T-T, as we like to call ourselves. LIFT is what is known as a Center for Independent Living. It means that we are a center for resources and advocacy for persons with disabilities. We serve people with all types of disabilities at all ages and stages of life throughout an 18-county service area in eastern and south central Montana, including here in Billings, Yellowstone County. My name, for more information about LIFT, we encourage you to visit lift.org, or you can find our LIFT app, which the new and improved version should be rolling out soon on either the Apple App Store or the Google Play for your Android device. Or, you can give us a call in Billings at 406-259-5181, or in our office in Glendive is 406-948-8500. The human brain is been called, and it's probably no understatement, the most important organ we have in our bodies. And so keeping it as healthy and happy, I guess, as possible is very important to keeping one's overall health and wellness together. And to that end, we have with us today LIFT's own nutritional health coach, independent living specialist, Eileen Rodriguez. And Eileen has received some training and is now going to share with the community through a class that starts on January 15th some pretty unique information about the brain and about some protocols and whatnot to keep it as healthy and happy as possible. Welcome, Eileen.
Thank you.
Eileen, let's start with how did you get interested in brain health?
It's a great question. I think it really affects all of us. And my story started when we saw my dad started declining to small repetitions and memory issues. He also knew that there was something not right. He was asking lots of questions. We started exploring resources in the library because he was concerned. And then there became a point that we just knew that there was something going on. So really exploring that more, knowing that prevention is the best for everything, and just wanting to know more about that, I started really digging deeper into the resources. Especially the library is a great place to start looking into things. I actually found Dr. Bredesen's book called The End of Alzheimer's. Great information, really the only thing, and I actually have a copy of his second book called The End of Alzheimer's Program, which is kind of more of a how-to book. I was thrilled to find that there was hope. A lot of books will tell you, and resources will say, as soon as you start developing dementia, there's just nothing you can do about it. And Dr. Bredesen has done over 30 years worth of research and sees what supports brain health and also the things that we do that can cause our brain to deteriorate. So,
and it's from Dr. Bredesen's work that this class that you teach has been developed, correct?
Exactly, yes. So he actually has a training. I decided that to help my dad, that to become a health coach would be helpful, and then to go on and take his training. I needed to be a health coach first, and then go on, take his intensive training. And then the nice thing is I have access to the resources of doctors and other health coaches, and we meet monthly to discuss cases. There's lots of resources behind the scenes that are helpful to me, which help me help others.
So Yeah, so let's talk a little bit about the class that starts on January 15th.
Sure.
What's it called? What is sort of an
Right.
overview of it?
Right. So it's basically optimize your brain health. So
Okay.
doing the right things that support your brain health. And Dr. Bredesen talks about 7 lifestyle changes that can really be helpful. So it's everything from nutrition is huge, the things that we eat. Our brain actually consumes 20% of the energy from our body, and it's only 2% of the total weight of our body. So what we eat has a huge effect on our brain. Exercise is huge, stress relief, how we sleep. So there's 7 different lifestyle components that are involved, and we really take the time in this 8-week class to dig into those different components. And what I love about it is it's done in a group setting, so there's a lot of exchange of information, encouragement of one another, of fun ideas of how we can do these things, and forming more of a community of support to encourage people to do things that are healthy for their brain.
And you had a class go through this 8-week process in
Yes.
over the fall,
Mm-hmm.
and they're continuing to meet on a monthly basis.
Yes.
To talk about that support.
Mm-hmm. Exactly, that's correct. So they've been through the 8 weeks. A lot of people are just like myself. They've had a parent or they've seen a family member go down this path, and they themselves know that they do not want to do the same thing. So they're really motivated to do what's needed to stay healthy. So yes, so those ongoing classes are kind of a combination of several classes, because in the fall I had 3 different classes meeting. So it's fun to get a bigger group together and dive deeper into the resources that Dr. Bredesen offers. There's lots of readings, lots of different
Okay.
resources.
And
So
I take it he's a neurologist by training?
he is, yes, he's a traditionally trained neurologist.
Okay.
He's done most of his time has been doing research.
Okay.
But now that his research really points to certain things that he wanted to actually do a clinical trial.
Mhm.
And there's so many components to this. It's hard to have a trial on so many moving pieces. So
Yeah, the whole, clinical trial is essentially governed by the scientific method.
Right. Yeah, exactly. Yes. So, but he does have a protocol, and that protocol, he now has done clinical smaller trials that he has groups of people that are declining. He has those markers, and he's actually walked people through the very same thing that I walk people through. And he is seeing that about 84% are seeing significant improvement. There is a small percentage, and he's still not real positive why they don't see the improvement that the others do. So, and it's also important to note that what I cover is the lifestyle portion. There is definitely a medical side of this. So
Right.
partnering with a medical healthcare provider
Right.
is important.
And you mentioned that you have, at least in the past, found a provider here in Billings who's familiar with this
Yes.
work?
Actually, through these classes.
Oh, through these
There's
classes.
been somebody that said, there's somebody in town that does, that is seeing people that is very familiar with the Bredesen protocol, which
Okay.
is very exciting to have that team right here in Billings.
That's great. So are there any eligibility requirements for attending the class?
Really, at Lyft, as you know, we're open to anybody who has any kind of disabilities. It can even be the concern of that decline, because dementia or Alzheimer's does result in a disability where somebody has to care for that person. So really anyone with the concern of having dementia or developing it is eligible for our classes. And it's amazing that they are offered free of charge. So.
Great, they are offered free of charge.
Mm-hmm.
So again, who would benefit the most from?
Again, anybody that a family history. Sometimes people start seeing things that just aren't right, and they might laugh and say, well, it's just a senior moment. Dr. Bredesen would say that is means for concern, and that you want to start doing something about that. Actually, dementia starts decades before we actually see those signs of people repeating, or those, oh, where did I leave my car keys, things like that. So the sooner that we address this, the better. So.
I'm curious, and we didn't talk about this beforehand, so
That's
if
okay.
it's too much of a curveball.
Sure.
I myself am what is considered on the autism spectrum. People do neurodivergent is a word that's thrown out there now. And, you know, there's a lot of things that are markers for that sort of have been happening to me all my life because of the difference in my, and again, I'm not as educated on this as I probably should be, but brain chemistry or whatnot. Is there, does the, and again, I know this is a smaller segment of the population, but has there been any sort of, in the literature you've run across about neurodivergence and?
Yeah, so basically the showing signs that that a person might be headed toward Alzheimer's, is that what you're?
Well, like for instance, you talked about losing your car keys. I lose stuff all the time. I have lost stuff since I can remember. There's a school district in New Hampshire that somebody loses their mittens, they're probably still getting ones I lost 30 years ago out of the box.
Okay.
So I'm just curious whether, and again, it's a curveball.
Right. Yes, and that's something that's not really talked about in Dr. Bredesen's literature and protocol.
Okay.
So that's a great, something for me to look into, because
Okay.
I'm not familiar with it. It's not
Fair enough.
discussed in his circles, really.
Okay.
There are, of course, markers and genetics and things.
Right. So in addition to the brain health classes, we've got a number of other services at Lyft. You and your co-pilot, Anya, do a number of different and wonderful things beyond the standard core services we offer. What other services do you think at Lyft we have that might support people's brain health?
Right, yes. So the exciting thing is that we are able to see the need and offer these things. So one thing is stress can be a big factor in developing dementia or having issues. So we do offer a Tai Chi class. I've actually been trained as a Tai Chi leader. And Dr. Bredesen actually recommends Tai Chi just because it is like a moving meditation, but it also calms our brain down so that it actually has a chance to heal and grow. So Tai Chi we offer once a week. It's on Tuesday mornings at 9 o'clock, right at the Lyft office. We also are able to do just one-on-one health coaching. So if people just have specific questions, they can come in, make an appointment. Again, these sessions would be free of charge. They can come in and discuss their concerns, make goals, and work toward those goals. It can be brain health related or just health related. So that's great. We also have a diabetic prevention class, which seems kind of off, but people with higher blood sugar levels are more prone to get dementia. So being able to control diabetes is a huge part of keeping your brain health so that it is optimized. So that's a great thing that we offer, and it goes on for a year, so there's ongoing support for that too. And then a new thing that we would like to roll out too is Dr. Amen is also has a lot of classes. He's
Okay,
very
and-
along.
Okay,
And he's actually a
okay,
psychologist.
So this is a different doctor than
Yeah, yes.
Then-
There's just because of
Okay.
the interest in brain health, I've been trained in a couple protocols.
Okay.
But for youth, there is a program called Brain Thrive by 25.
Right.
And so a youth's brain is not developed until they're 25 years old. So what they do between birth and that 25 years can really have an impact on their life. If they're doing, eating healthy, taking care of themselves, their brain is going to be just so much better shape to handle life's challenges that are thrown at them. So that's something that we'll try to roll out in March or April of this
Okay.
year and have that offered
the youth service?
to anybody under 25 years old.
Okay. That's great.
Mm-hmm.
Share, if you can go ahead and share one of your sort of favorite brain health tips briefly, something that if, somebody's flipping through the channels, they've stopped on us for a minute.
Sure. Actually, they say the absolute best thing for our brain is exercise. When we exercise, we get blood flow, we get oxygen to our brain.
Yeah.
So exercising is really important. The interesting thing is they find that there's something called dual training exercises. So just exercising is great, but if you're actually challenging your brain in the process, it can be really beneficial. And one of Dr. Bredeson's, somebody that's taken his program and really put it to use, and she actually has a residential care program in San Diego, and she's getting wonderful results. And she shares a story of a lady that was declining, and she had family members that came and stayed with her. And one of the granddaughters suggested going out for walks. And while they were on their walks, the granddaughter would ask her about the family history and who's this and what's that. And they could see an improvement in this grandmother's cognition just from that physical activity. But she was also working her brain in the process.
Right, so it's not even necessarily that you have to be doing a physical activity where you've got to be thinking about what you're doing. It's you can be walking and then, I know a lot of people listen to books while they walk, or
Right, exactly.
or again, like talking to somebody else.
Yes, exactly.
Okay, that's
Yep.
interesting. So
Yes, and
Again.
actually engaging, because you mentioned a lot of people will
Right.
ask about, can I listen to an audiobook, which is wonderful, but not letting yourself kind of drift off, but maybe even stop once in a while and write something down or really engage with the material. So just like these walks with this grandmother
Right.
and granddaughter. So
okay, yeah, because that's very interesting. So again, have you seen in your own work in the classes you've done at Lift or before you came to us, have you seen some successes?
The amazing thing is you definitely want to do the right things. And I actually have a friend that was starting to decline and she didn't realize it. She called me and said, I am repeating myself and I don't even realize it. And her family was coming to her and saying, you've repeated the same thing over and over. So just going through with her and saying, okay, what has changed in the last 6 months or since this has been happening? And she started kind of walking through some of those changes that had happened in her life. And she was able to go from saying, this is really scary, I don't even know that I'm repeating myself, to saying, just even a month or two later, saying, I have been able to, nobody's telling me this. Part of it was supplementation. She was getting low on certain supplements, and that was helpful to her.
Okay.
So there, again, the medical side of
Right.
it can be helpful too.
Because often the first thing we think of when we hear somebody start repeating is getting their hearing checked.
Right? And that's another big part.
Can be part of it.
Yes. Even in my dad's life, he was his hearing started declining. His eyesight was declining, which actually isolated him from society. He was starting to withdraw, and that's one of the things that we really don't want to see. We want people to stay engaged.
Right, and that's true of everyone with a disability. That's part of what we do at LIFT, is we're all about building an inclusive community.
Exactly. Yes. So that is extremely important, to not withdraw. And again, this lady in San Diego who has this residential care facility, she says one of the best things too is to stay socially engaged. And that's overall what I'm really excited about in LIFT, is that there is that opportunity to have that engagement with others. That every time we meet, you can see that people are starting to get more comfortable and more engaged and share ideas and share information. So it is really becoming a community of people that have the same goal.
So we've come down to the last minute and a half or so. So just quickly, Optimize Your Brain Health is the title of the class. It starts on the 15th of January at 3 p.m. at LIFT, which is 1241 Crawford Drive here in Billings. How would people register?
Yep, it's really just a phone call. You can call the main number that Jed gave you. My number at the office is 406-294-5185. But just a simple phone call. You can even just call the main desk and say, I heard you have some brain health classes, and they'll make sure you get to the right person. And we can visit and get you all signed up. And after this offering, we'll just, the class is an 8-week class, so it meets weekly.
So is it going to meet on those Wednesdays? Okay,
for weekly at 3 o'clock.
And for an hour? Or?
Yes, it runs right about an hour.
Okay.
So yes.
That's good to know. All right. Well, thank you, Eileen. And again, thanks to our audience for watching today. This has been Living Well in Montana. Living Well in Montana is a service of living independently for today and tomorrow. LIFT, L-I-F-T-T. And we are a Center for Independent Living, which means we are a hub for advocacy and resources for people with all ages, with all types of disability throughout our 18-county service area. For more information about LIFT, I encourage you to visit our website, lift.org, or give us a call in Billings at 406-259-5181, or if you're further out east in eastern Montana, our office in Glendive can be reached at 406-948-8500. My name is Jed Barton. Thank you and good day.